Well, this phone call is reportedly from the 14th of October, and Reuters is reporting that in the middle of October, the Russians provided this outlines of a peace plan to the Americans. So the fact that Witkoff was talking to Yuri Ushakov, Putin's aide, about it in mid-October doesn't contradict the idea that the plan actually came from the Russians. Witkoff suggests the idea, how about we have a 20-point plan? It may be that then afterwards the Russians thought, okay, and went and came up with a 24-point plan. And then their idea, what Reuters is reporting, is that the Russians basically drew up the plan and persuaded the Americans to get on board and say that it was coming from them. What's interesting about this phone call and this Witkoff advising Yuri Ushakov about how the Russians ought to approach Donald Trump is that it is suggesting that Donald Trump's acquiescence into this idea was not a given and that he needed to be sort of carefully managed in order to be persuaded, which suggests that Witkoff is, as it were, more on the side of the Russians than Donald Trump necessarily is, which is something that many Ukrainians already suspected. Witkoff's reputation in Ukraine is you couldn't possibly imagine a worse reputation, really. He's regarded as both incompetent and on the side of the Russians. In addition to this news that he will be traveling soon to Moscow, Andriy Yermak, Volodymyr Zelensky's chief of staff, says that the Americans will be sending, he hopes, Dan Driscoll, the army secretary, to Kyiv in the coming days for further talks.
Yeah, you mentioned Dan Driscoll. It comes as well as stories emerge of him and Donald Trump, another official saying Russia will be able to take more territory soon anyway. I mean, how's that going down there?
Not well, of course, but there have also been reports lately in Ukrainian media saying that the Ukrainian general staff are painting rather too rosy a picture of the situation on the front lines. The Russians have taken most of the key city of Pokrovsk, and they're waging this war in a different way now, much more in the air with the drones, and that makes the calculus all rather different. The situation definitely is very difficult for the Ukrainian forces on the front lines, but nobody is talking about an imminent collapse.